Hi Rebecca, hi Ian. Thanks so much for coming in today. Can I get you a coffee or a tea or anything like that?
I'm good, thank you, Sharon. Nice to meet you.
Okay. I just wanted to have a chat to you about your property, Unit 5, 256 Black Street in Preston.
Yes.
I understand this is your first investment property that you own, so congratulations on your purchase there.
Thank you.
Just in terms of obviously leasing it and what your expectations are, and obviously wanted to run through today with you my role in managing that property of yours, I thought I'd run through some of the specifics if that's okay with you, and please feel free to ask me any questions along the way.
Yeah.
So the property's under both of your names.
Correct.
And what I'll step you through now is an instruction form that I will populate as I'm going through and talking to you.
Okay.
And this goes through specifics around the property and also obviously what we're going to charge people per week in terms of rentals, annual fees, etc., etc.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll confirm the address of Unit 5,
Correct.
256 Black Street in Preston. This lease agreement, you're happy to lease the property for 12 months at this stage?
Yes.
Beyond the 12 months, what typically happens is 60 days prior to the lease being complete, I'll contact you as well as the tenants and request whether or not you wish to extend that lease.
Yep.
And if that's the case, we'll give the tenants an option to stay on.
Yes.
And if they decide at that point in time they don't want to stay on, we can talk about what options are available to you then.
Okay, great. Yep.
Okay. Now, in terms of weekly rent
Yes.
for the property,
Yes.
obviously I've done some research in regards to the area, and obviously, as you know, our agency leases a number of properties in and around the surrounding streets. I think based on the property, we would be looking at around 330 per week.
That's great.
That's where we'll start.
Yes.
We'll see what interest that gets, and if there's some competition, we may find that potentially we can increase that if people want the property. But I think where it sits at the moment, given that it's got a number of bedrooms in it, fully carpeted, carport, etc. I think that's the price where we're looking at.
Excellent. Okay, great. I was
Does that
expecting less, so that's a really good figure. So we'll be happy with that.
Okay. Do you have any questions around rent and payments and?
So what does that work out to be? Like if it's $330 a week?
Sure.
So do you deduct it weekly or is it on a monthly?
So it'll be on a monthly basis.
Yep.
So on a monthly basis, it'll be $14.30.
Okay.
And in terms of the tenants, we also get $14.30 because that's the monthly payment as
Yes.
bond when they first move in as
Okay.
well. So we
Yes.
keep that for any incidentals or anything like that. Now, in terms of our management fee for the property, which is just standard and across the board, it's 7% of the
Okay.
annual rent,
Yes.
which works out to be annually $1,321 for you.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now one of the questions that I did want to ask you was in terms of additional fees on the property. So, for example, rates for the property. Would you like that to come out of the rental income, or are you happy for me to on-forward those statements to you, or vice
Send
versa?
it through to us, that'd be great.
Okay,
And
so
we'll
then
look
you
after.
can. All right,
Yeah.
perfect.
Great.
And insurance and that you'll look after for
We'll
the
make
property,
sure-
landlord's
yeah,
insurance.
Yeah, we've got insurance already. when it's
Fantastic.
purchased, so-
Our office does actually provide landlord's insurance
Oh,
as well,
okay.
which I'm happy to give you some information on,
Great.
which I've just happened to have here handy for you. What else do I need to talk to you about? Now, there's no body corporate on the property, which is
Okay.
fantastic.
Yes. Do you have inspections on the property when you're managing?
We do.
Yeah.
We conduct inspections every 3 months.
Okay.
If there's a need to do it more frequently, we can organise that. But at this point in time, once the tenants actually officially move in, we will let them know that in 90 days
Yeah.
we'll be visiting the property.
Okay.
Obviously, we give them advance notice of
Sure.
the time, and we work with them in terms of a convenient time.
Excellent. Yep.
I just wanted to make sure that I have everything else that I need from you. Now, in terms of keys for the property, I know that you've given us one set. I
Yes.
encourage you to have a set yourself.
Yes.
you've already
Yes,
got a separate
yes.
set. Great.
Yeah.
So obviously our keys will be secured in our key filing cabinet, which
Yeah.
is locked and only accessed by the property managers, and will not be released to anybody else. The tenants will get a full set of keys. We photocopy those keys at the time of them exiting the office, and then when they leave the property or their lease ends, we ask for all those keys
Sure.
to be returned.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Any other questions?
Do you review the how much is paid on a yearly basis, or what happens there? Will it always stay at 330, or will there be an increase? Or
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think the way in which we quite often look at it is depending on where the rental market is and what's actually happening out there. At the time before your lease expires, we can review where it's at. So if the tenants are happy in terms of staying on, and sometimes it's quite negotiable. If they want to lease it out for 2 years, maybe we're a bit negotiable on our end, depending on where you're at with the property.
Yeah.
But if we certainly see an increase in rentals around your area, there's no reason why we can't put that conversation to the tenants if they wish to stay on.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joan.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks, see ya.
See ya.